Welcome back to the Rugby Social. Just seen the nominations for the Six Nations Players of the Tournament. And that got me thinking, whilst all four of those players are great players and they had great tournaments, I think there are some players who are missing out there. So in this video, I'm going to run you through who I think should have been nominated. Also give you a little bit of an insight into who I think were the breakthrough players for each country. And then also tell you who my overall player would have been. So love to know what you think. Please get stuck into the comments. Let me know who you think should have been nominated. But let's get into it. So the four players that were nominated, we've got Earl from England. We have got Van der Merwe from Scotland. We have got Menoncello from Italy. And we've got Bundee Aki from Ireland. And as I say, all great players, all had great tournaments. Love watching them all. But actually, I think there are some other options out there that should have been considered. So let's start in alphabetical order. Let's go with England. So from a player of the tournament point of view, I think actually the nominations are spot on there. I think Earl was magnificent for England, both with carries, tackles. He was right up there on the stats for both of those things. And he just made England tick. He's been England's best player probably for the last 6 to 9 months. And yeah, absolutely the right player to nominate there. In terms of England's breakthrough player, a little bit of cheating here. I'm going to go for Ollie Chesham. So whilst he's not really a breakthrough player, he has moved position. So he's moved from the second row through to blindside flanker. And I just thought he was a revelation. I thought he was awesome. Hit everything with real venom. So athletic, got around the pitch and just really contributed massively. And by moving him to blindside, maybe that's a little fill-in now for Courtney Lawes. Maybe he's the guy who can take that enforcer role that Lawes had. And it also opens up space for George Martin to join Itoje in the second row. So, yeah, pretty much England, I think the nominations were right. So now let's move through to Ireland. Now, again, love Bundee Aki, great player. But actually, from an Ireland perspective, I think there was somebody who played even better. And for me, that's James Lowe. And if you've seen my video, which talks about Ireland's back-to-back championships, you'd have heard me already go on about James Lowe and kind of what a great performer he is. Now, in terms of breakthrough player from an Ireland point of view, I think there's only one place to go here, and that's got to be Jack Crowley. He's just filled in almost seamlessly for Johnny Sexton. Obviously, Sexton's retired. Yeah, there's a bit of speculation around where would Ireland go for that fly half position. But yeah, he's been magnificent. Great with kicking, great with ball in hand, lots of carries. Yeah, absolutely great. So that's where I'm going to go from an Ireland perspective. Then we move into Italy. Now, Italy's a really interesting one. So Menoncello was the nomination. And yeah, magnificent tournament he did have. I also thought Brex had a magnificent tournament. The two of them together as a centre pairing was just sublime and a real revelation from an Italian perspective. But the one player I think should have been nominated above both of them, because I thought he had an absolutely magnificent tournament, was the Leon winger, Monty Ioane. So his contribution, he scored 2 tries. He had, I think, around about 48 carries. It was something like that. He was also the 5th highest most meters carried player, 3rd highest most meters gained player, 2nd most offloads, 2nd most line breaks. Sorry, no, he wasn't. He was the 3rd most line breaks. And maybe the only downside to him is he does slip off a few tackles. But other than that, just going forward, an attacking threat, just absolutely brilliant. And I think what really encapsulated his effort and his performance was that try he got against England. Yes, the clock was red, but, you know, just that desire and that skill to break away, pretty much go the length of the pitch and score. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So he would have been my nomination. Again, nothing against Menoncello or Brex or many of the other Italian players. Limero, for example, they were all fantastic as well. Now, in terms of Italy's breakthrough player, I think we look no further than Padrello. Now, as a scrum half, I think he's just the player to make Italy click and fizz. Just gets through so much work. He's so quick. He's so rapid. And again, another Leon player. Now, he did get tutored probably under Dupont, because he was obviously at Toulouse for a little while. But yeah, I thought he was brilliant, and I think he should be their starting number 9 going forward. So I said I'd do this alphabetically, and I've just realised I missed out France. Now, overall, quite a disappointing performance from France. As a team, as a group of players, they didn't actually get a nomination for the player of the tournament. But if I had to come up with one from France, I would go for Francois Cross. Now, for me, he's just very, very dependable, gets through a huge amount of work, able to play 6, able to play 8. For me, he's just very, very dependable, gets through a huge amount of work, able to play 6, able to play 8. And from a French stats point of view, he had the most tackles, he hit the most attacking rucks, and he was a really good line-out option as well. So I think what stood out for me was his consistency. He was pretty decent in all of the games, even though France's performances kind of were all over the place. Some great stuff, some absolute rubbish as well. So he would be my nomination from a French point of view. And in terms of their breakthrough player, again, only one place you can go here. Le Garrec, what a scrum half. I mean, he came in and, it's a tough berth, obviously, trying to fill in for Dupont while he's away. Luku, who I thought was a great player going into the tournament, didn't quite live up to it. But when Le Garrec got on the pitch, I think it was part way through that Scottish game, he really made things fizz. And then he just got better and better. And obviously that 30-metre reverse pass in the last game against England was absolutely sublime. So he's my breakthrough player from a French point of view. And now we're going to restore order and carry on alphabetically. And then let's look to Scotland. Now, obviously, Van der Merwe was nominated. And whilst, he's a great player. He had a good tournament. I thought he went a little bit quiet in certain games. Obviously, against England, he was amazing. And he obviously just terrifies England, doesn't he? He just can't stop scoring tries against them. But, was he consistently brilliant across the whole tournament? Probably not. So my nomination there would actually be Scott Cummings. So the second row. He's been a consistent performer for Glasgow for a good period now, and I thought he really brought that solid, decent, robust, nagging, annoying club form into his country form there. From a Scottish point of view, just looking at their player stats only, he had the most tackles, he hit the most attacking rucks, and he had something around 24, 25 clean-outs as well. So, yeah, great performance from him. And again, a bit of an unsung hero, really, stuck there in the second row. It's not easy to impress, is it? But I think he did it. And then from a Scottish breakthrough point of view, I was just massively impressed by Andy Christie. Now, he's been on the fringes of the squad for a couple of years now. And he actually got some serious game time at the back end of this tournament. And he's just so dynamic. He's just great going forward, massively effective in defence. And he's a real kind of talisman and energy bringer to a team. And I just love watching him. I thought it was great. So, I can see that he may well have that number 6 jersey nailed on over the next couple of seasons. But yeah, it's good to see him. And finally, let's look at Wales. So Wales didn't have anybody nominated, but I think this is probably the biggest miss of all of the nominations here, because I think the standout, or one of the real standout performers of the tournament, was Tommy Reffell. So playing in a side that's getting battered, playing in a side with little confidence, little experience, for me, he really stood up. And, he was just a catalyst in everything Wales tried to do, defensively, but also he kept popping up in attack as well. Reffell's stats and contribution was off the charts. In terms of breakdowns, breakdown steals, he had 8. The closest player behind him was 4. He was second highest person going into attacking rucks. He had the third most tackles out of the tournament, third highest number of clean outs as well. And he hit the most defensive rucks. So pretty much top of the charts in everything. And yeah, I just thought he was absolutely awesome. And he just makes things difficult for their opponents. He really slows down things. He's a disruptor, and his contribution to, Wales, although they didn't win any games and they probably didn't look close to winning any games. I just thought he was absolutely brilliant. And then in terms of breakout player for Wales, for me, it's probably Winnet in fullback. I mean, he hadn't had many senior appearances before joining that Six Nations squad. I think it was like probably less than 10. But he looked accomplished. He looked comfortable. I think his error ratio kind of went up as the tournament went on. But I think as a long-term prospect, yeah, he looks like he's the full package, and could really be a significant contributor to Welsh rugby going forward. So that was my breakdown of who should have been nominated country by country. But let me know what you think. Did I call any of those right? Are there other players you'd have liked to see nominated? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. And whilst you're there, please do like and subscribe. I absolutely love talking about rugby. I love thinking about rugby, and if you get any value from what we're doing here, any enjoyment, please do like and subscribe. So if I had to cut that down to 4 nominations as per the tournament format, I'm going to go Ben Earl. I'm going to go Tommy Raffel. I'm going to go James Lowe. And I am also going to go Monty Ioane. And then overall winner from my perspective, I think, he was in the original selections, and I think he was the standout player across the tournament. Almost no arguments would be Ben Earl. I think, he was just absolutely at the heart of everything England did that was positive. And he's really proven to be, a fundamental part of any England team going forward. If anybody ran him close for me, it would be Tommy Raffel. I mean, I thought he also did brilliantly well. And maybe if he'd been on a winning side, that might have swayed things. But yeah, so that's my view on it. Love to know what you think. Thanks very much for watching, and see you on the next one.